Hey, good afternoon. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, please throw some comments there in the chat box. Thank you. All right, seeing a few of you there in the Q&A. That's correct. No chat. My apologies. Seeing some folks there in Q&A. So that is fantastic. We're going to give it a couple more minutes. Let some more people pile in here. But thank you to those of you that let me know that you can hear me. We'll chat in just a bit. All right, all right. Looks like we got a lot of folks piling in here. That is fantastic. Welcome to CINC's bi-weekly scripting and role play webinar. Just give me a couple more shout outs if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Just want to make sure. Beautiful, beautiful. That's what I was hoping for. I am not a Zoom expert. I will do my best, and we will hopefully all get through this together. My name is Matt Feathers. I am a real estate agent and team leader in the Nashville, Tennessee market. Run a small team here. Been using CINC since about 2014. Probably all of my business is within CINC, and I do some prospecting and dialing myself. So super pumped up about this. Happy to be here. So we're going to get this going. If you guys have been like me, I've been starved for some sports here lately, but I've been really dialed into the Last Dance, the documentary about Michael Jordan and his 6 championships. And I read something. It was a tweet actually from a psychologist. I read a tweet. It's Dr. Michael Gervais, and he said that Michael Jordan's gift was not that he could jump high, run fast, or shoot a basketball. His gift was that he was completely present, and that was the separator. So I just wanted to challenge you guys to be completely present for this call, for this next 45 minutes to an hour, and wanted to challenge you guys even as an extension to that. Be present in what you're doing. We all know Michael Jordan, the backstory, the after. I mean, the guy is just an incredible human being, but I thought that that was such a compelling observation because we know about him, using fuel from prior seasons, things like that to really get him and his teammates motivated. But I started to think more and more about that tweet, and it makes perfect sense about him just being totally present in his preparation and his practice and in his games, to where it just allowed him to be one of the best, if not the greatest of all time at the game of basketball. Also, too, another thing that popped up in my email inbox this morning from a person that I kind of follow and admire, and you guys probably got the same email, but he was really challenging folks during these times of distress and challenge. And he was saying basically that most people fail because of taking the wrong degree of action. So he kind of alluded to that there was like 4 options. You could either do nothing, you could retreat, or you could take normal action, or I like this one, take massive action. So again, I'll say it again. It's do nothing, retreat, normal action, or take massive action. And I wanted to get some feedback from you guys there in the Q&A. What have you been doing, or what are you wanting to do? And I'm hoping that you guys see attendance here as kind of taking some massive action towards taking the next steps. So throw some questions in there, not really questions, more like comments. Let me know if you've been taking massive action or plan to take massive action. And I hope that I hope you guys will join me in that feedback. That's fantastic. That's what I wanted to see, and that's what I was hoping to hear. And I knew you guys, just by being here, are already taking steps to, towards self-improvement and kind of seeing these tough times as opportunities, not an instance where we need to just sit idle or retreat. So for me, my motivation has been, I don't want to get past this. I don't want to get outside of this pandemic or on the backside of this pandemic and say, I wish I could have done more. I wish I could have done something differently. So for me, I don't want to be regretful, of not doing more or not taking massive action through these times. So just wanted to kind of kick this off the first couple minutes there with a little bit of motivation, hopefully get you guys a little bit fired up. Just kind of getting right into some fundamentals of scripting. First and foremost, this is the biggest thing in outside of kind of like mindset and just kind of preparing yourself to make calls. I'm going to get past that, and I want to spend a little time just focusing on that opening line. So whenever we are dialing, we're prospecting, these are leads that we've not yet had a conversation with. And I'm not alluding to like nurturing or your sphere of influence or anybody that you talk to repeatedly. These are your folks that are like in your P1, P2, or P3 filters. This is purely for prospecting. I wanted to, let me see if I can change or pull up this PowerPoint here and get it to the opening line that, let's see, that we use. So bear with me for 1 second. There we go. There is, if you guys have been to a conversion day, you've been on these calls in the past, you guys probably know it very well by now. If you don't, it's a great time to take notes. But this is the opening line that we've used time and time and time again on our own prospecting calls and at conversion day. So it's been tried and true. We're getting somewhere between like a 30 to 35% contact rate. And then once we get those folks on the phones, we're getting a similar percentage of appointments set. So 30 to 35% of the people we talk to, we do get them to an appointment. And I firmly believe that a lot of that is fueled from nailing this opening line. And it's very, very fundamental. And it basically says, hey, this is Matt from the home search site. I saw that you were looking at some homes and you can reference their favorite city. Are you looking to make a move in the next few months, or are you just browsing? And I want to unpack that in just a couple minutes. And, forgive me if you guys are on these things over and over again, you keep seeing this, but I want you guys to understand the importance of nailing this opening line. These folks, once you get them on the phone, I mean, it's 3 to 4 seconds. It's a very, very, small, minuscule hook that we have to get them onto. And I think that by nailing this opening line, you've got a better chance. You got a better chance of grabbing them. Okay. So, before I even kind of unpack that opening line, I want to speak to something that's even just as important of, letting that roll right off of your tongue. But when it comes to your initial, your initial verbiage, your initial original speaking, it's so important to have good tonality. We need to have good energy. And that backs up to even, speaking about your mindset, your preparation for making these dials. But it's very important to convey yourself in these conversations in a very positive, upbeat, cheerful manner. So if you get somebody on the phone and you're very monotone, if you don't have the energy behind your speech, you will lose these folks. And I read a book. It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Chris Voss is a FBI hostage negotiator. And he says this about tonality. He says, when we radiate warmth and acceptance, conversations just seem to flow. That's why your most powerful tool in any verbal communication, that's face-to-face or that is over the phone, your most powerful tool is your voice. You can use your voice to intentionally reach into someone's brain and flip an emotional switch. Distrusting to trusting, nervous to calm. In an instance, the switch will flip just like that with the right, get this, with the right delivery. So we need to be mindful of this, folks. We got to be thinking about our tonality and how we are presenting and selling ourselves over the phone in the first couple seconds. Okay. So getting back, I hope that helps you guys out. Again, that's Chris Voss. The book is Never Split the Difference, an amazing, amazing book that will help you with prospecting. Getting back over to this, this opening line, let's take a look at it here. It says, hey, this is Matt. Okay, so I'm going to reference my name from the home search site. Notice that we did not reference the actual site. Okay, the site doesn't matter. Chances are these folks are on multiple sites. I've heard anywhere from 6 to 8, maybe more. Okay, so we're not going to reference the actual site, not to mention a lot of our domains are pretty long and cumbersome. I mean, I'm at NashvilleHomefinderOnline.com. Don't really want to get my tongue tied there. So, hey, this is Matt from the home search site. I saw that you were looking at homes in, and you can reference their favorite city, or you could say like the Nashville area or the Franklin area or the Gallatin area. But when you do reference their favorite city, I do firmly believe that it provides some relevancy. Now you're kind of giving them that little nugget to say, hey, this is that person from that site. I know that you were looking at homes in that city. Okay. And then it says, are you looking to move in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing? Before I go there, I want to back it up just a little bit. Notice that we don't reference our brokerages or company name. This is we call it a landmine. It's not important. Okay. Not to mention those folks, these prospects, these leads, they could have had a bad experience with, your brokerage in a different state at a different time. Who knows? So there's a lot of franchises out there. We just want to avoid that landmine. Okay. Notice too that we don't even say their name. It's not important. Not to mention we get some names that can be hard to say. We can not be real sure if it's male or female. It's just one of those things that's not important in this opening line. Okay. So those are a couple of pitfalls, hopefully, that you guys can take some notes and try to avoid. And we talk about scripting a lot. And then ultimately, this is about the only part of the conversation where I truly use scripting. I want to nail this actual opening line right here that you guys are looking at. I want to nail it almost word for word. And to me, that's true scripting. If not, if you guys don't feel comfortable with some of this verbiage, it's okay to tweak it. change it to where it sounds good coming out of your mouth. Okay. So for me, sometimes I won't even say, are you looking to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months? Sometimes I'll say, are you looking to make a move in the next few months? Okay. Or are you just browsing? And just try to understand what we're doing there with that very last sentence. We're trying to box them in. Okay. We're giving them two options. It's not open-ended. It's either or. Okay. And that's the goal there, guys, with this opening line. And a lot of you are thinking, well, I know what they're going to say, right? They're going to say just browsing. And that is perfectly fine. That's almost what we want them to say. Now, if they say, hey, we're looking to make a move in the next few months, even better. We'll take it from there. We'll start digging into the why. Okay. But if they say just browsing, well, that's their out, right? We're giving them their out. We're giving them their permission to say no. Okay. So we are perfectly fine with that. And if they say just browsing, lean in, use that good tonality and say, perfect. That's exactly what the search site is for. Mind if I ask what you're browsing for? Or mind telling me a little bit more about what you're looking for? Or, hey, mind telling me a little bit more about your current situation? These are all conversations that come out of that opening line in an effort to learn a little bit more about them, to empathize with them, to get a better feel for their situation. They're going to respond in some capacity. And if they keep giving you pushback, well, that's okay too. That's probably pretty natural. But I'll challenge you guys to go back and rethink how you kicked off that conversation. Did I have good tonality? Did I nail that opening line? Okay. So continue to challenge yourself to do that. But if they do say just browsing, and then we say perfect, that's exactly what the search site's for. Mind if I ask what you're browsing for? Well, typically people will respond with some criteria or the what's, right? 3-bed, 2-bath, or 2 acres, or whatever the case may be. Well, this is where you guys have heard this time and time again, especially if you've been on some of these CINC conversion calls or some of our Rewire Your Mindset calls that are every other Wednesday now. You know what we're trying to do, and we're trying to uncover their why, right? So you hear us say it all the time, and it's true. We're really trying to figure out or uncover the why behind their situation. Why are they on the site in the first place? Why are they looking to make a move? Why are they looking to sell, then buy, whatever the case may be? But when we get some sort of response to that last sentence, make a move in the next few months, or just browsing, whatever that response may be, we need to challenge ourselves to start uncovering that why. And we always say go 3 whys deep. Okay. So if I get somebody that says, yeah, I'm looking for a 4-bed, 3-bath. Oh, that's awesome. You mind if I ask why 4-bed, 3-bath? I mean, it's as simple as that. And then once they respond to that, it might be that they are expecting another child, or it could be going in reverse and that they are downsizing. And if we get a response to that, we're going to respond with another why question. Oh, okay, interesting. Tell me a little bit more about that. Okay, and we're going to keep digging and digging and digging. And who knows, it could be a situation where somebody is trying to move and get a little closer to work. Okay, well, if you're trying to get a little closer to work, you're probably trying to cut down on your commute time, I would imagine. Well, what would cutting down on that commute time mean for you? If I could get you, an extra 30 minutes to an hour per day, that's a couple, 2, 3, 4 more hours per week. What would that mean to you? So we're just digging. We're digging. We're digging. We want to go 3 whys deep for every what. Okay, 3 whys deep for every what. Make a note on that. And I promise that you'll start to get better responses, more impactful and important responses. And it may at first seem like we're poking and prodding these folks, but the reality is we're just trying to learn a little bit more about their situation, to be empathetic. We want to help them, and then go from there. And we start with the whys, guys. We start with the whys, and then we we try to move towards time frame, right? Get a better idea for their time frame, and then save. I know it sounds a little crazy. Save the what, save the criteria, the what's for last. And we do this because chances are the what is going to change anyway. Okay. And if you have a better idea on their why and their time frame, you'll probably be able to help them with the what's as well. Okay. So Q&A box is open, guys. I was rattling off there for a few minutes. So if you guys have any feedback or questions, throw them out there. And I'll even open up some of the questions to the group too, just to try to solicit some feedback from you guys that are making these calls. I'm seeing some stuff now. Okay, cool. Yeah, throw some stuff out there, gang. If you guys have any questions or feedback in regards to the opening line or 3 Whys Deep. Good stuff. Some of you guys have been digging into that book already. Never Split the Difference. Yes, it's fantastic. It has had a positive influence on my conversations, not just over the phones, but even just being face to face with folks. You know, one of the takeaways for me has been just really challenging myself. And again, this is for face to face conversations with your buying and selling, you know, buying and listing appointments, but also too over the phones. Just challenging myself to come across less interesting. I'm trying to minimize my ego, you know, my chest pounding to folks, come across less interesting and challenge myself to be more interested in them, in their situation. So that's kind of been one of my big takeaways on that book. Okay, got a question here. What do you do when they hang up as soon as you get to from the home search site? That's from Marjorie. Great question, Marjorie. And again, the question was, what do you do when they hang up as soon as you get to from the home search site? I've had a few of those leads anyway. It's going to happen. We are going to get folks that that hang up right away, or, you know, we'll say just looking or just browsing, and then, you know, attempt to get off the phone as quick as possible. Two options here. You can either say next and just move on to the next one. And that's what I love about prospecting and using the dialer. It's a total numbers game. So I will kind of, you know, my brain has been rewired to not take those instances personal. I'm going to say next. John says it best. He screams next opportunity, you know, next paycheck, whatever that is. I'll go to the next one. But something to think about is rethink what your opening line was word for word, and what was your tonality like. Okay. So really challenge yourself to come across as energetic and interesting. Okay. But again, it may be a next conversation, and that's okay too. Dustin, shout out to Dustin, man. Hope you're doing well. I have them to cut you off and say, I have a realtor. I ask, well, have you seen some homes yet? I get no, but I already have a realtor. So this is kind of getting into some objections, and we're going to spend a few minutes talking about objection handling, and I want to open it up to you guys for objections. But I get this a lot in conversation, and here recently I've been getting it a lot in response to some of my drip emails and drip texts. Okay. But just speaking in terms of conversation, like when we're prospecting, I have started to avoid asking like, well, that's great. Well, do you mind if I ask what your realtor's name is, or who do they work for? I've just not had a lot of success with this. And I've really tried to remove that from my verbiage in these prospecting calls. But real simple, I'll say that is great. That is good to hear. You know, I'm thankful that you are, using an expert in what might be, one of the biggest purchases of your life. Okay. So that is great to hear. But if you don't mind me asking, if I were to come across or find a good deal, would you want to know about it? And I'll just be quiet. I'll just leave it right at that. And I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, the response is, well, absolutely. Or yes, if you don't mind, or that would be great. And then if they respond in that way, I'm just going back to the 3 whys deep, 3 whys deep time frame criteria, or the what. Does that make sense? Love your feedback on that, guys. Throw something in there. But if they, like I said, 9 times out of 10, yeah, they do want to know about a great deal. They do want to know about a great deal, or they want to know about an off-market property or a coming soon. And that's kind of where you got them. They're on the hook now. Okay, they might think you're a better realtor, or they might think you know about something that their realtor doesn't know about. Or you know what? They might not even actually have a realtor, but this is just a great way for you to grab them. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. And if I do have them, again, I'm going 3 whys deep, and I'm going time frame, and then what. So if I were to find you that great deal, and you already said you wanted to know about it, do you mind if I ask what that great deal looks like? Is it 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms? Is it in Nashville, or are you looking at surrounding cities as well? So once I get those responses, I'm just digging. Hopefully that was helpful, Dustin. Let's see, another one. They say you guys are calling us a lot, and I am okay. Yeah, so I get that one a lot too. That if we're calling that person a lot, we're getting them on the phone. We need to keep that person on the phone and try to find out more about their situation. If they're getting tossed back into the save filters, and we're continually dialing them, it's probably because we've not been able to have a good conversation with them in the past. So try this opening line and try to focus on their why, then their time frame, then their what. Okay. We were just browsing for now. They say just browsing. Yeah, that we get it a lot, guys, and just be prepared for that. Now, you guys, after this call, we will have a survey that is sent to attendees, and you guys will be able to get some scripts and stuff. And I want to also, I'll go ahead and plug this, next Wednesday, the 27th at 11 a.m. Eastern time, Rewire Your Mindset, Reshape Your Skill Set. We're going to do a similar type call as we're doing right now, but it will be a little bit deeper into mindset, motivation. And I know too, there's a survey for that one as well. And I believe you get our conversion day script material as well. And it has very scripted, very natural responses to the just browsing. Okay. And we're fine with that response. We want it. We want them to say just browsing. We just have to be prepared to back that up with something that sounds natural, something that sounds interesting. Okay. Matt, let's see, Matt, you wanted that realtor response again. Not a problem, my friend. Let me get this back up so you guys can see the opening line. Response to the realtor counter. Yeah, it's an objection. It's very, very typical. We get it all the time, but I always say, hey, that is fantastic. That is great. I'm glad to hear that you have solicited some help, some support from an expert. You do not want to go into purchasing what might be one of the biggest purchases of your life, without some help. Okay. But let me ask you this, Matt. If I were to find a good deal, better yet, a great deal, would you want to know about it? And chances are, guys, I get it all the time. Chances are they're going to say yes. And then when they do, we just start getting into the whys, dig for the whys. Okay. Jennifer, next Wednesday, May 27th, 11 a.m. Eastern time, you can go to cincommunity.com and sign up for that webinar. Okay. Carrie, I can't get them to answer the phone. Is there an email, text that you can send to prompt them to call you? Yes. I will say this. I'm not a big email fan. I do like texting. Um, First option is to keep dialing. Okay. They say 6 to 7 attempts is what it takes to get somebody on the phone these days. I believe it might even be more because of the amount of robodials and spam that's going on, especially currently with the amount of folks that are home. We're getting worn out by irrelevant phone calls. So keep trying. Maybe try it alternative times, Carrie. Just keep pounding those phones. But I rarely say this, but I do think it is an option after you've dialed somebody 10 times and they've not answered. Maybe try a voicemail. I'm going to preface that by saying when I'm prospecting, I do not leave voicemails. People that I've never talked to, I do not leave voicemails, but it's almost like a lifeline. Okay, Carrie. So if I get to a point and I know I've dialed this person 10 times and they've not answered or picked up the phone, well, then I might leave them a voicemail, but there's got to be some value in that message. I don't like voicemails. I would imagine most people don't like voicemails. I have got to give them a reason to text or call me back. So I want to give them some nuggets. Hey, I've got something I think that you might be interested in. Hey, I have a few questions for you. Something along those lines to try to get them to answer back or call back, or maybe answer your phone call the next time. But then when it comes to text messages, because email is a great lifeline, especially if you have a bad phone number, but I would prefer text as my other default. I like asking on text. I like closed-ended questions. So it might be, hey, Carrie, I saw that you were looking at some homes in the Franklin area. Mind if I ask, are you only looking in Franklin? And just leave it at that. Or, just something along the lines. And I've even seen people do, and this is like last lifeline, last little bit of defense, but just send them their first name question mark. Okay. It seems crazy, but again, it's no different than them picking up the phone. We are just trying to get them to respond in some way. If they give us that one response, then we have to be prepared to, respond to that. But if you ask somebody an open-ended question, like, hey, just let me know, or get back to me, or something along those lines, they never do. They never respond. Okay. So ask very targeted, very closed-ended questions. Hopefully that helps, Gary. Other questions? Yeah, and we're trending the right way, guys, and we're doing great on time. If you guys have other objections, throw them out there. Okay, throw them out there in the Q&A. Jill, scripts. If you do the survey, you will get our scripts. And again, definitely hop on next Wednesday, the 27th, for that rewire and reshape your mindset call. Okay. Let's see. Pam, when you say 7 times or so to call, is the consecutive days? Yeah, that's a great question. Pam asked, when you say 7 times or so to call, is this consecutive days, or do you leave days in between and switch up times? I would definitely switch up times if you're having a hard time getting a hold of folks. But our P filters, my goal, like on my team, is to be calling mornings and afternoons. So if that's the case, mornings and afternoons, that's twice a day, right? So I'm good with 2, 3, 4 times a day in an effort to get them on the phone. So if it's just a minimum of mornings and afternoons, if you get to 2 or 3 days, well, that's 6 to 8 dials. And that's what the experts tell. We use the Harvard Business Review study of trying to get these folks on the phone. And that's what they tell us. It takes like 6 to 8 attempts to get these people on the phone. So I am perfectly fine with consecutive days. But I do like your point there to switch up times on call times, because we're just trying to catch them. Who knows what their situation might be to where they can't answer the phone. And that being said, with the amount of folks that are either ordered to stay at home or quarantined, or they're doing business from home, not going into the office, it's a great time, guys, to throw that Harvard Business Review study out the window. Okay. I know agents, a lot of my colleagues, myself included, we're calling all day, every day. Okay. We know that people are at home now more than ever. They might be working from home, but that does provide some flexibility to answer our phone calls. Okay. So that being said, obviously mornings and afternoons are the best, and that's usually due to commute times for commuting. But with the way the world is these days, I would challenge you to just elevate, take massive action, like we were talking about in the earlier part of this call. Elevate your call attempts, next level your call attempts, make more dials. Okay. In the old days, it might have taken 50 or 100 a day, make 250. Okay. We got to do what we got to do during these wild times. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Good questions, guys. How many calls without answer would you say it's time to stop calling and move on to the next one? I don't spend a lot of time on that. I just leave that person in attempted contact. Okay. That means if they're logging into my site, they're going to stay in my saved filters. I use the easy buttons, the CINC easy buttons, P1, P2, P3. And if they're logging in, I'm going to keep on trying. I'm going to keep on trying. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, if they're not answering, if it's ringing and ringing and ringing, I'll end call and move on to the next one. Okay. Great question. Oh, that's a good one. I have found that the double tap is successful. I'm assuming you are meaning double dials. Double dialing is very effective. Call one time, they don't answer, you hang up, call back immediately. Okay. This is a cool little prospecting hack that I know works for a lot of people. Humans are curious. They want to know what they're missing or what's going on. Why is this person calling me back again in such a short time frame? So double dialing, guys, that does work. Okay. Remy's dialing all day for the past few weeks. They answer all day. That's what I wanted to see and hear. I would agree, my friend. Just keep dialing. Okay. Just keep dialing. Keep nailing that opening line. Keep nailing your script. Be curious about these people. Be empathetic. Be caring. There's some people that are in some pain right now, right? Let's care. Let's get them on the phone. Let's meet them right where they are, right where they're at, and try to help them. Remember, guys, they came to you first. We are not cold calling. They came to you first. They gave you their name. They gave you their phone number. They gave you their email. Okay. We are not cold calling. Let's call these people and help them. All right. Let's see. I'm getting a lot of folks that have bought already or are looking for a child who has an agent. The ones that bought already, that's always a punch in the gut. It just makes me wish I would have gotten to them sooner. That being said, you can try and, confirm. This is a little technical, guys. So I won't try to get in the weeds too much, but this is something I've been doing with those folks here recently. I have confirmed their address, whether that's in conversation with them, or I'll take a few seconds, dig in. I won't spend a lot of time on it. I want to prospect, right? I want to get my next paycheck, but I will, if I can confirm that they have bought already, I will turn them into a seller lead in my system, and I will input their new address into the info tab, and I will turn on our home valuation report. So now I have a seller that's in my system that could be a buyer in another few years. People stay in their home, average 5 to 6 years. I love data. I keep these people in my system. I just convert them to a seller lead, add their address, turn on the home valuation report that CINC provides. Whether you guys like the comps or not, it's still a 30-day, it's a monthly touch that puts me and my home valuation in front of them every 30 days. Okay. And now you still have this person in your system. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Let's see. Stephanie's got some folks that don't want any more correspondence. Never unsubscribe these folks. Don't unsubscribe them. If you do have some sincere feedback and they don't want to look anymore, maybe they haven't logged in you know, 90 days or something, you can always set the property alerts to never. Okay. They're not going to get stuff from you if you do that. Do not unsubscribe these people. If you unsubscribe them, it's very tough to get them back. We make it very CINC does everything legally the right way. We make it very easy for them to unsubscribe themselves. Okay. So we all get blown up, stop, or don't send me anything else, or whatever. Like I usually do not heed. This is being recorded, so I might get in some trouble. Whatever. I do not spend much time on that. Those typically don't lead to my next few paycheck. We make it very easy for them to unsubscribe. Okay. So that's my feedback on that one. Angela, double dialing, it's not a feature. It would be manual. You still could do it through the dialer, just as, via like a one-off dial. Okay. Let's see. Great question here. What do you do when someone unsubscribes from calls and email? This just means that you can't like mass communicate with them. You can't text them or email them from the system, but you know what you can do? You can call them. Okay. You can still call them. All right. That unsubscribe button means that you can't text them from the system. I don't love my unsubscribes, but in most instances, when someone unsubscribes, it means that we didn't get to them fast enough, or we're sending them irrelevant information. You guys know as well as I do that people come into your site, into your system, looking at homes that they more than likely will never buy, right? So somebody comes in looking at $1 million home in Hendersonville on the lake. In all actuality, they're first-time home buyer, 250, 350. So we uncover that by getting them on the phone. Okay. So that is done through normal prospecting, but great question, Coldeep. If they do unsubscribe, let's call them anyway. And don't bring up the unsubscribe. If say, hey, Coldeep, I noticed that you unsubscribed from my site. Well, now their defense, their wall goes straight up. Yeah, you're darn right. I unsubscribed because you were sending me all this junk. Just call them and use the normal opening line. And if they bring up the unsubscribe, then we can empathize with them and say, hey, my apologies for sending you irrelevant stuff. Mind telling me a little bit more about what the perfect house looks like for you guys. Okay. So unsubscribes, they don't deter me. If anything, you can make a filter and call them more often. All right. Great question. Let's see. What do you say to a person who's moving but is furloughed? Furloughed, from my understanding, great question for these times. Don't spend too much time on the furlough. They probably don't want to talk about it any more than they already have to. Spend more time talking about, Dustin, if you don't mind me asking, what did the perfect home look like for you guys before all this mess happened? Okay. Now, get into their why. Let's set them up. Let's have an appointment with them. Let's help these people. But my understanding is with people that are planning to finance a deal, cash, it may not matter, but people that are planning to finance a deal, being furloughed could cause some problems. So more to come on that. Let's see. Yeah, Andrew, great question. When you say to take people off of property alerts, you mean in their search? That's exactly right, guys. Go into your search, and if you do feel like this person needs to be removed, they're genuinely, maybe they haven't logged in a long time, or they're blowing you up, or they're rude or ugly, then yes, you can go into their search and set property alerts to never. This will keep them from getting your property alert emails. Do not unsubscribe them. Too hard to get them back. Great question. Okay. Should we still be pushing to take them out to look at properties in person, or push virtual tours more due to current situation? Great question. Considering the times, I'm going to leave this up to you guys. You guys know your market, your state, your personal beliefs, your personal condition, your health better than I do. I don't want to say that I've been doing business as usual, because I haven't. Things have been different, but I have been showing homes virtually via FaceTime, and I have been showing them in person. I'm going to be respectful of myself. First and foremost, I have a wife and 3 kids. I'm a sole provider. It's important for me to be healthy, but we must push forward, right? This is going to all end hopefully soon. I want to look back and say I did everything I did during these tough times to better myself and my clients. Okay. So if I'm comfortable doing things the way that I think that I can do them, then I will. I'm also going to be very respectful of my clients, and I'm also going to be very respectful of sellers. Okay. So I don't want to, impose upon a seller that, or not take the proper precautions that these sellers have asked for. Okay. So hopefully that helps. But I listen to, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I do listen to the experts. Okay. And as we all should. But there are ways to do business cautiously. Okay. And not putting yourself and other people at risk. All right. People still need houses, guys. I mean, that's the reality of what we're in right now. It is a pandemic. It is not a housing crisis. Our market is still very strong in Nashville. I can't speak to everybody else that's on here, but we're plugging forward. And if you are a person that can't get out, or don't want to get out, or your state won't even allow you, then no better time than to pick up the phone. Right? Help these people out, meet them where they're at. I'll say it again, meet them right where they're at, empathize with them, help them, and let's help get them to the finish line. At least be prepared for what this looks like on the backside. People don't buy houses, if they're financing for 21 to 30 days anyway, right? The landscape, the climate of all of this, the outlook is going to be drastically different between now and 30 days from now, right? This should not apprehend or keep us from doing business, from calling and helping people, okay? That was a little bit of a soapbox rant there, so my apologies, guys. Hopefully that's helpful, though. Let's see. 3 times different, same phone number, hopefully. Stephanie, you've got multiple leads, or not, no, it's like 1 lead that signed up 3 times. You can merge them. I highly suggest merging them. Best way to do this appropriately is to get them on the phone and find out their preferred name, find out their preferred email and preferred phone number, and just make sure things are set up internally. Chances are that they're not coming in through Google 3 different times. They're probably, getting links to like property alerts and things, and they're just getting prompted to register or sign up again. So don't get too hung up on that. Really just challenge yourself to get them on the phone, get good info, make sure they know their login, and help them out in that way. This is a good question. What do you do if you call a lead and you get a text that I can't talk right now? Do you come back with when is a good time to call, or text you back? Yeah, 2 things. Leave them in the save filters and call them again at a later time. Or you could say, when would be a good time to chat? That's all I'm going to say. My apologies, but when would be a good or a better time to chat? All right. That's that closed-ended text message. I want to get them to respond. All right. Ramey has a strong market in Toronto. Massive misconception, though, that there's a big price drop coming. Love this one. Used it last week. Appointment set. Had somebody that said they wanted to wait. They wanted to wait until the market leveled up, or even tabled off, or prices dropped. And I said, hey, I totally get that. But let's be honest. I mean, we don't know what the future looks like. We can't really predict what the future looks like. But I will say this. We have about 2 or 3 preferred lenders that are telling me, they're all telling me the same thing, that rates are going to go up. Mortgage rates are going to go up in the next few months. So that being said, whatever reduction in price or cost savings you're hoping to incur more than likely will be offset by an increase in your monthly mortgage rate. Okay, something to think about, guys, and that is a good objection handling response for those folks. Okay, I've been getting it a lot. And just while we're on the theme of objection handling around the pandemic, going all the way back to the opening line and then just the early parts of the conversation, I don't bring it up, guys. They know all about it. Some people are speculative, some are not, some are frustrated, some are tired, some people are, have concerns about their job. If they don't bring it up, why should we? If we say, yeah, oh, this is crazy, who knows? It's hard to say. That's a landmine for yourself. Okay, that you're totally just blowing up the conversation. But on the flip side, if they do bring it up, that tells me that they're concerned about it, but I'm here to help them. Okay. And another objection, it's not really an objection handler, but it's a way to get another why out of them is to basically say, hey, are you able to work during all of this? Or what's your work day looking like these days? Or are you an essential employee? And you'll get them to respond about their income and about their occupation. So I've been loving that one. So, hey, have you been able to work, during all of this, or what's your job looking like these days? And we're just trying to get more and more and more about their why. Okay. Great question, Rainey. Let's see. More objections here. Let's see. Manually add email addresses. Yeah, if you can't manually add an email address, guys, it's probably because it's already in the system. You just need to find that and merge those two leads. Good question. Let's see. Let's see. What do you do when he asks a better time? What do you ask? Debbie, when they, what do you do when you ask when is a better time to chat and they don't answer the phone after that? Keep calling. Keep calling, keep calling, keep calling, keep calling. We're trying to get these people on the phone. If that does not work, that's when you would try and use a closed-ended text or email, or even possibly try that voicemail that does add some value. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Kristen, good feedback on the rates. And that's another, Kristen said she's hearing the opposite on rates. They could be low through next year. And it just kind of feeds into that speculation. So it just comes down to us being able to get them off the fence, and to get out and be looking, or to be seriously looking. But it all comes back to us on the front end of that, trying to get a better idea of what they're actually looking for. Okay. Great question. Let's see. Made contact, but they say, I'll call you when I'm ready. Okay. Again, I am going to, before I get that response, I'm going to try to nail that opening line, get a better idea or better understanding of their why. But if they say, I'll call you when I'm ready, well, that's when I'm going to, kind of lead into like a time frame question. Well, Daniel, if I found you that perfect 4-bed, 2-bath, would you be willing to make a move on it, today or next week? Or what does your ideal time frame look like? Something along those lines. I want to try to get past the misconception of anything that is going on in the market. The market is out of our control. Okay. Great questions, guys. We've got a couple minutes here. If anybody wants to role play, throw an RP in there. I'll see if I can get this opened up or unmute you. Again, not the Zoom guru. We've only got a couple minutes. All right, Raimi, let me see if I can do this here. Thanks, Ramey. Ramey, make sure that your mic is unmuted, and I'll see if I can find you, my friend. Bear with me for 1 second. All right, Ramey, I unmuted you. You want to make sure that your mic is on as
I believe
well.
I'm on now. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Let's do it.
All right, man. Thanks for, hey, I'll say this in advance. This takes a lot of guts. Thank you so much for
That's all I've
doing
been doing for the last, since pandemic, 10 to 12 hours a day. I stop to eat and go on showings and come back.
Oh, man, that is awesome. That gets
I
me
just want to
fired
get
up.
better. I just want to get better and better. So thank you for having me. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, thanks for hopping on. I'll leave that opening line up there on the screen
Yeah.
for
I
you
got
to
the
use.
script printed out in front of me.
All right, perfect. You can call me. I will answer, and we'll just take it from there, okay?
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, it's Rami calling with the home search site.
Okay.
I know you were looking at some homes in the Toronto area. While I have you, are you looking to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months or just browsing?
Oh, I don't know. Things are a little crazy these days, man. I was just kind of curious of what the market was like, and it's really kind of early for me. I was just looking.
Perfect. That's exactly what the site's for. Tell me more about your situation.
Well, like I said, I don't know. Things seem a little crazy right now, but I just got on your site, and they required me to give you my info, and I just really was just looking at some homes.
Like I said, that's exactly what the site's for. I totally understand. I mean, we're all going through this together, right? So I can make sure you're looking in the right direction. Let's start with how many bedrooms are you looking for? 3 or 4?
Well, if I were to make a move, it'd have to be at least 4 bedrooms.
Okay, that's great. 4 bedrooms. Why is that important to you?
Well, I work from home, so I need an office.
Yeah, I do the same, man. I can relate. I can relate with that. Okay. And what kind of budget are you looking at?
Well, it's hard to say right now, but I mean, I guess this has kind of changed some things with recent economic activities, but I'd probably be somewhere around 500.
Good. That's a good budget for the area. I do have good news. Because of the recent situation, the rates are down. The banks in Toronto, they just dropped the rates. We got, a couple of my brokers, they're doing some really low rates below, less than what the banks are doing, to be honest with you. Have you already gone to the bank for the mortgage approval, or what are you done with that?
Well, my goal is to pay cash.
Oh, that's even better. Then there's no need for that. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set it up on the website, the 4 bedrooms you're looking at, and just so I know, if I did find that perfect 4 bedroom for you, are you ready to act on it, or what do you have in mind?
Um, well, it would have to be a good fit.
Okay, I understand. I understand. So you're leaning more towards the end of the year, next year. What do you have in mind?
Um, I wouldn't be opposed to making a move by the end of the year.
Perfect, man. Okay. Like I said, please feel free to keep using the website. Definitely save my number. Definitely give me a call if anything changes. And I mean, listen, if I don't hear from you, I'm gonna reach out to you in a couple of months to check in, see how everything's going. If that's okay with you, sound fair enough?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for your time, man. Have a good day.
All right, thanks, Ramey. All right, you mind if I give you some feedback?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to come on for.
Yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, again, we got over 100, well over 100 people on here. That takes a lot of guts, and thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for doing that. That was awesome. Some really good stuff, man. I think your opening line was good. I would challenge you to combine that first sentence and the remainder of of the opening line. You said, "Hey, this is Ramey from the home search site," and you paused. Now, I am a big fan of pause and listening and letting them talk, but I was a little bit curious as to like why you called me. Okay. So I would just, and now it is a lot of words, it's a lot of text, a lot of verbiage. You got to
Okay.
nail down that opening line and combine it all together. Okay. Because I want my response or my first, feedback, or the first time I speak, to be in response to looking to make a move the next 3 to 6 months or just browsing. Okay. Um, let's see. The transition though, once you got me to respond about the 4 bedroom, you got me to there. It was super good. Super good. Now, what I will say though is you went from there to budget way too quickly. Okay.
Okay.
So when I said 4 bedroom, why did I say I needed the fourth bedroom?
You said a home office.
Exactly. So when I said home office, that's where you can start going 3 whys deep. Okay. Oh, so you must work from home. Okay. You mind if I ask what you do?
Yeah. Okay.
Or
Good.
or how does, let me ask you this. Has working from home been crazy the last few weeks? Because for me, it has been. I've got 3 kids. 2 kids are under 4, and it is crazy. It's chaos. So what's it been like? Something along those lines. We're trying to empathize with them, dig a little deeper. Okay. So when we talk about office, asking them what it's been like, where do they work? That's 2 or 3 whys right there. You got to budget too quick. And
Okay.
we're going to get there, but we start talking about money early on and you sound very salesy, right?
Yeah.
So let's just save that. Let's table that budget conversation for a little bit later in the conversation. um, After that, you got to the information about financing, which I find that to be very helpful. However, I'm a cash buyer and you offended me because you assumed that I needed to finance my house. um, I know that doesn't always happen, but I will tell you guys this: if you are going to talk about money, lead with cash. Oh, so that's great. That's great, Ramey. Are you thinking about paying cash for this place, or would you need a mortgage? That question right there will eliminate that problem altogether. Okay. And then let's see. At the close, you said in a couple of months, like reaching out to me in a couple months. Um, don't wait 30, 60 days to reach out to these guys again. Do your best to find out what they're looking for. Get them set up on a safe search. Set the appointment if you can, whether that's face to face or virtually. But if you give me 60 days or 90 days, I'm going to buy a house with somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's happened many times, man.
So yeah, let's nail down that search, and let's nail down a plan. Right. Let's get them on the phone for another call. Let's set up a Zoom meeting with them and their spouse or significant other. So, okay. So
So, well,
let's
what's the
don't.
value in that? Like, what am I offering? I know I like to get value. If I'm gonna ask for a Zoom meeting, I'm gonna ask you to come see a house. Hey, man, I got that perfect house right now.
Mhm.
Can you make it out this evening? So that Zoom meeting, what's the value in that? What am I offering up?
Well, I'll tell you this: let's say 75% of that conversation was a lot of value, but I think 25% of that conversation there could have been more. So if you would have been more interested and more intrigued about my situation
Okay,
and what I was looking for, I think I would have been a little more motivated to taking those next steps with you.
understood.
Yeah. So again, man, takes a ton of guts. I think you did awesome. Keep doing it. It's all muscle memory. Keep making those dials all day, every day.
Yeah,
And from the next call you make to the next one, you're going to get better. Okay. Um, but thanks again, my friend. I'm going to wrap
my
this up,
pleasure.
guys. We are
Thanks
at
for having me.
three.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are at 3:02. Don't forget, next Wednesday, May 27th, 11 a.m. Eastern, rewire your mindset, reshape your skill set. You guys, and while I'm saying this stuff, guys, if you have any feedback for today's call, throw it in the Q&A box there. But next Wednesday, rewire your mindset, reshape your skill set. We are also too planning to do Sync U in June in Atlanta. That's June 16th through 18th. We're going to be socially distant, taking a lot of precautions, limiting it to like 40 people. So sign up before it's all booked up because it will get sold out. That is hands-on learning, guys, with your CINC colleagues. That's June 16th through 18th in Atlanta, July 21st through 23rd. Same thing in Phoenix. Taking those same precautions. We're going to have the room set up for social distancing, but make sure you check all that stuff out, guys. And if you want one place to find all this information, go to cincommunity.com. Okay. You can sign up for this webinar in 2 weeks. That's this one right here that we're doing in 2 weeks, next Wednesday's call, and even get more info about CINC-U, okay, and live training. Thank you guys so much. These calls make me better. I'm appreciative of that. I'm thankful of that. I love my CINC family. And if you guys need anything, you know where to find. I'm on Facebook, message me, whatever, come find me. And I'd love to see you guys on the call next Wednesday and hopefully face-to-face in June in Atlanta at CINC-U. Okay. Thanks again, guys. Have a good afternoon. Make sure and hop on those phones and get to dialing this afternoon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.